Pranam.
My name is Harshika Bohra.
My name is Hirak Shah. For the next 1 hour, we all will spend time together to witness the historical event, signing ceremony of Alka Dalal, endowed postdoctoral fellowship dedicated to the study of Jainism. As for Jain tradition, any pious event starts with reciting auspicious manglik. We would request you to stand up while we recite this through the melodious voice of Ishita Jain and Lavisha Jain.
Jai Jinendra.
My name is Ashita.
My name is Lavisha, and
Together
we'll sing Navkar Mantra and Uvasagam. Om Namo Arihantanam. Om Namo Siddhanam. Om Namo Ayariyanam. Om Namo Vajayanam. Namo Loe Savasahunam. Eso Panchanamo Karo. Sava Pava Panashano. Mangalanam Cha Savesim. Paramam Havai Mangalam. Paramam Havai Mangalam. Uvasagaharam pasam vandami kamagalamukam. Visara visaninasam mangalakayana avasam. Visara pulingamantam kante dhare yosayamanu. Tasagaharogamari dutta jara janti uvasamam. Chitau durmanto तुझपनमो भी बहुफल होए नर तीरिये सुविजीवा पावन्ति न दुःख दोगच्छं तुह समतिरद चिंतामणि कपपाय बहिये पावन्ति अभिज्ञानं जीवा राम राम ठाणं इह सन्तु माहेश पतिंबर निबरणयेणं तादेव दिच बोहिम भवे भवे पास जिना छंद भवे भवे पास जिना छंद.
Thank you.
Jai Jinendra.
That was so peaceful. Thank you, Ishita and Lavisha. We are delighted to invite our young, dynamic, visionary, and energetic president of Jain Center of New Jersey, Sri Jigar Shah.
Pranam and Jai Jinendra. While we spend little time together here, it's a humble request in this unprecedented time that if you are sitting in this auditorium, and if possible, please keep your face mask on for safety of yours and everybody around you. Thank you. Distinguished guest, Executive Dean, Mr. Peter March, Dean, Mr. James Michel, Religion Department Chair, Mr. Tao Jiang, President, Rutgers University Foundation, Kimberly Hopeley, Vice President, Rutgers University Foundation, Miss Latisha T. Williams, Miss Priyal Dalal, and the star of today's ceremony, Siddharth B. Dalal, along with invited guests, Sadhvik, brothers and sisters. On behalf of Jain Center of New Jersey, I welcome all of you today in this historic event. Before we continue, I would like to quote a mantra from our prayers. Asatyo maheti parama satye tulai jaan unda andare thi paramati je tulai jaan, which means from the darkness in a life, take me to the eternal brightness. From the path of untruth, take me to the ultimate truth, He my Lord. And this journey of seeking truth or brightness is not possible without Samyak Gyan. Samyak Gyan means right knowledge, which is only possible by studying right books from learned gurus. I'm happy that today Sri Siddharth Dalal has opened up his wallet and Rutgers University has opened up their heart to build this long-lasting relationship to spread Samyak Gyan, right knowledge and Jainism. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, George Bernard Shaw, and many other leaders like them got inspired by Jainism because of the notable pillars of Jainism like multiplicity of view, non-violence, and non-possessiveness. The most effective way, the path of helping humankind is by showing respect to all and everyone's opinion, that is multiplicity of view. Being inclusive, spreading the principle of non-violence and every life matters, controlling climate change, and so on. I hope the younger generation, when they come to Rutgers University, they are exposed to this philosophy to solve the country's and world's problem. Thank you, both of you, Siddharth Dalal as well as Rutgers University, for paving the way for this. Once again, on behalf of entire Jain community, we congratulate both of you on this partnership between Rutgers University and Dalal family. Thank you.
Thank you, Jigger Uncle. Anekta me ekta means unity and diversity. When this thought comes to mind, one name always stays on top of our mind. That word is Jaina. Jaina has helped spread Jainism throughout North America. We are happy to invite past Jaina President, Jaina Jain Ratan recipient, Sri Dilip Bhai Shah.
Jai Jinendra. Greetings. I am a member of the Jainas Academic Liaison Committee that has shepherded about 20 universities to initiate Jainism, chair, professorship, lectureship, whatever, over the last 8 or 10 years, 8 years. The dream of initiating something at Rutgers University, which is in the heart of the largest Jain population in America, started about 5 years ago with the mentorship of Professor Gary Francione. He's our nominal Jain. He was pronounced Jain at 2009 China Convention, where he was the keynote speaker. And he has been a guiding light for us. But the actual funding came along and made this dream reality because of the generosity of Siddharth in memory of his wife, Alka. Alka considered me as a brother and used to tie me rakhi. For me, this is an emotional day that her memory will be retained for years to come. To all of you, I would urge you, so when you get out from this auditorium, look at your right. There is a large Jain library, which will be available for your students to take advantage of. We'll consider member of the Jain study classes as an honorary member of our library or our Sangh. So they will always be welcome to use the library. And the temple will provide them experiential knowledge of Jainism outside of the classroom knowledge. So these facilities should help build your program, and you will find a very, very welcome heart. And if you come on Sundays, you'll most likely also have lunch here. So it will be a very welcoming experience for your students, only your faculty. I'm very, very thankful to the Dalal family as we discuss this possibility of funding it. This is the first installation of Jain studies on the East Coast from between Maine to Atlanta, but should not be the last one. There are many prestigious universities on the East Coast that will host Jain studies. We just have to find kind-hearted Jains to fund it. There are possibilities in Connecticut, in Boston, in Baltimore at St. John Hopkins University, and other places where we would like to start Jain Studies program. And anyone who has in his heart to fund it, please get in touch with us, Jigarbai, or the Academic Liaison Committee of Jaina, or sitting at the end, Harish Bhai, who is the incoming president of Jaina. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dilip Uncle. We are elated to invite a person who has supervised, coached, mentored, counseled, and taught thousands of students for their successful careers. Peter March, Executive Dean of Rutgers School of Arts and Sciences.
Well, thank you for that very kind introduction. Hello, I'm Peter March, the Executive Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences at Rutgers University. And it's a pleasure to be here today to celebrate this extraordinary gift and to express our deep appreciation to Dr. Dalal, his children, as well as leaders of the Jain community who helped to make this gift possible. At the School of Arts and Sciences, the tradition of excellence extends back to the founding of Rutgers more than 250 years ago. Excellence is a part of the fabric of who we are, and you see it in our students, our faculty, and our alumni. Our unwavering commitment to outstanding research and quality education allows us to broaden our students' minds, transform their lives, and improve society. The Alka Dalal Endowed Postdoctoral Fellowship will not only add to our current strengths, but will reinforce the religion department's coverage of ancient Indian religions and bring awareness of the teachings of Jainism to our students and the wider community. We're deeply grateful to Siddhartha Dalal and his children for this important gift. Today is more than a celebration. It's the beginning of an exciting new partnership with Rutgers University and the Jain community. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you for Mr. Peter March. We are delighted to invite Tao Jie, Chair of Department of Religion, who will be the godparent of this chair and shape it for its future successes.
Dear friends and colleagues, my name is Tao Jiang. I'm the chairperson of the Department of Religion at Rutgers University. On behalf of my colleagues in the department, let me first express our profound gratitude to Dr. Siddhartha Dalal and his children for this incredible generosity to the Rutgers community, especially to the Department of Religion. The department has a distinguished faculty on several South Asian religious traditions, including Hinduism and Buddhism, and we provide a robust coverage of these areas. But right now, we do not have a specialist on Jainism on our faculty, even though Jainism is covered in some of our general introductory courses on Asian religions. Lack of a devoted line in Jainism has been felt by some of our students who are interested in learning more about this great spiritual tradition with an ancient root in India. So the Alka Dalal Endowed Postdoctoral Fellowship will allow the department to fill this lacuna. From now on, there will always be a Jain specialist on our faculty who will develop and teach classes in which Jainism is the focus and conduct research and produce new knowledge on Jainism. We're very grateful and excited about this incredible opportunity. We're fully committed to bringing a scholar of Jainism to Rutgers as quickly as possible, which in academic term, meaning in the fall of next year, okay, if the search is successful. In fact, we have already started the process by working with the humanities dean to draft the ad in the search for an ideal candidate to fill this position. You will not be surprised to know that there are still some steps to take right before we can announce the ad, but we are well on our way. With the establishment of this fellowship, Rutgers and the Department of Religion has become more closely tied to the Jain community in the state of New Jersey, as well as in the US and the world more generally. We'll work hard to build on the spirit of this generosity and nurture a long-lasting bond between Rutgers and the great Jain community. We look forward to another occasion in the not too distant future where we can gather again to welcome the Alka Dalal Endowed Postdoctoral Fellow in Jainism to New Brunswick. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tao Jiang. Due to an extremely busy schedule, our Honorable Governor, respected Mr. Murphy, could not join us today, but he has sent his representative, Mr. Rajpal Beth. I am requesting him to please come on the stage and deliver the message on behalf of Mr. Governor Murphy.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Sabtapela Sasrikal Namaskar to everyone. And thank you to the two young leaders who have been announcing everybody. They're phenomenal. I'm pretty sure when I was their age, I was not as well behaved and able to do that. So apologies for the governor for not being able to attend due to a bit of a busy schedule. So my name is Rajpal Bath. I do AAPI outreach for the governor in the state of New Jersey. And so I do have with me a letter from the governor. And before I start reading, just a special shout out to Rutgers University. I'm pretty sure the governor would penalize me if I didn't give a shout out to y'all. Dear friends, on behalf of the state of New Jersey, I would like to join with the Jain Center of New Jersey to celebrate the creation of the Alka Dalal Endowed Postdoc Fellowship on Jainism at Rutgers University. Jainism is a non-theistic religion that was founded in India over 2,500 years ago, and its principles of non-violence, non-possessiveness, and a pluralistic worldview are celebrated by more than 8 million followers of Jainism worldwide. Here in New Jersey, we are honored to have a large Jain community and the Jain Center of New Jersey serving over 1,800 families. Thank you to the Dalal family, Nimal, Priyal, and Siddhartha for their generous support in establishing this endowed postdoctoral fellowship in the memory of Alka Siddhartha Dalal. The Alka Dalal Postdoctoral Fellowship will encourage educational opportunity towards the exchange of ideas, creation of new knowledge, and training of graduate students. This program will ensure the future scholarship of the ancient Jain religion through the lens of the world's most pressing challenges and opportunities. As governor, Phil Murphy, not myself, I commend the Dalal family for their steadfast advocacy and support of establishing the Alka Dalal Endowed Postdoc Fellowship on Jainism at Rutgers University. My very best, Philip D. Murphy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajpal. So far, we have 22 chairs for studying Jainism in the USA. 2 of the pioneers for this initiative could not join us in person, but they have also sent their message. I'd request Priyo Dalal to pass their wishes to us.
Mask off. Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today. I was in this room 5 years ago, a couple days after my mom passed away. And I remember that I shared that her final words to us before she passed was to be charitable. It is incredible to be here today as a family fulfilling her wishes. Two people could not be here today, and they had messages that I will paraphrase slightly for the interest of time. So this first message is from Sulek Jain. It brings a special joy that now this gift adds to joy that Jain beliefs and practices will now be represented in a more visible way among the offerings of the illustrious religion department at Rutgers University. The two values of the Jain religion make us brothers and sisters in this endeavor. Rutgers University, as it commits to study and teach Jainism, and the Jain community, as it supports the study of this religion by many students. The first is the value of pluralism in today's world, or what we call anikanthada. For thousands of years, Jains have valued and practiced the pluralistic perspective, the belief that all of the world's religious traditions are valuable, that each has its unique contributions to make, has now also become a central pillar of the religious studies at Rutgers University and across the world. This shared value draws us deeply together. The second is the value of ahimsa, nonviolence that binds us together. The most beautiful word ever written in any language, in any culture, anywhere in the world throughout the human history is ahimsa. Yep. Ahimsa is the life force, the central pole and foundation of Jainism. Among the world religions, none has made the striving for peace more central, and none has called its followers to higher standards of ahimsa than Jainism. We hope and trust that the gift we establish today will inaugurate a long and fruitful relationship between Rutgers University and the Jain community. Both groups believe that the new courses will help to enhance the offerings of the religion department. Above all else, we hope that in our own humble way, they will contribute to a more peaceful world and to the growth of ahimsa across the planet. The gift today also has a few noteworthy features. My Jain brothers and sisters, this is the first permanent Gyan Mandir, or temple of learning, on the entire eastern seaboard, from Boston to Charlotte. And my appeal and hope is that many generous donors like Siddhartha will come forward with the same mission and zeal to establish many more such soon. The world needs ahimsa, and Jainism is the one to provide this gift of ahimsa to the world. That is from Sulek Jain. Now we have one more message, and this is from Gary Francione from Rutgers. Jai Jinendra, we live in a time of tremendous violence. There's not only the violence of various wars, armed conflicts, but there's the violence of discrimination and inequality, and the violence of our everyday interactions with each other, which, because of increasing political and social divisions and economic disparity, are increasingly less civil, kind, and compassionate. There's the violence of what we are doing to the planet, which is responding by delivering a climate catastrophe. And every year, every single year, we kill for food alone almost 80 billion land animals and an estimated 1 trillion sea animals. Think about that for a second. Every year, we kill for food more animals than the total number of humans who have ever lived on Earth. And most people don't even think about this breathtaking violence as they eat their meat, chicken or fish, drink their milk, or enjoy their ice cream. These foods, which just give us such pleasure, are produced through the unspeakable suffering and massive slaughter of beings who are, for the most part, like us. They're sentient or subjectively aware. They do not want to suffer, and they do not want to die. If there was ever a time to appreciate the importance of ahimsa, or nonviolence, the central doctrine of Jain Dharma, it is now. Indeed, if we do not recognize the importance of ahimsa and do so soon, our future may be more frightening than anything we can imagine. And for this reason, I am delighted that Dr. Siddhartha Dalal, in honor of his beloved wife, Alka, has chosen to create this postdoctoral fellowship in Jainism at Rutgers. Those who have recently been awarded their PhD in Jainism will spend several years at Rutgers, one of the finest public research universities in the United States and one of the top universities in the world. And an important part of this fellowship will be to build bridges between the Jain program at Rutgers and the Jain community in New Jersey and the region. Thank you for hearing these excerpts.
Thank you, Priyal Didi. Next, we would invite a representative from Franklin Township Council and a big supporter of JCNJ, Councilman Mr. Ram.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Franklin. I told Mr. Shah I don't need the mic because once you give a mic to a politician, you would never get it back. But I just want to wish you all a very happy occasion of this generous donations by the Dalal family to Rutgers University. And we are very proud to host Jain Center in our town. As an Indian American, I'm very, very happy to see our culture being supported by philanthropists in name brand universities like Rutgers. I am a Hindu. I come from Tamil Nadu in India. But in Tamil Nadu, there's a lot of poets and philosophers. And one of the things that they taught us in our young age is there's only one religion and there's only one God. And that is so true across all the religions that you see in the country, including Christianity, Muslims, and Jainism. We all talk about the same type of unity. And I love the message, unity in diversity, that the kids spoke about. Very well said. As you know, Franklin Township is one of the most diversified towns in the state of New Jersey. We have about 23% population of Franklin is Asians, and we have about 70 places of worship in town and more on the way. So we are very welcoming, and we value and celebrate diversity. And once again, I welcome this donation to Rutgers University. Thank you very much to the Dalal family. God bless.
A strong and visionary leader whose leadership creates a caucus to encourage and invest in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Kimberly Hopeley, President of Rutgers University Foundation, please come up to the podium.
Greetings. In my role, I serve in order to allow people to give. To give a gift is an expression of love. To give a gift in honor and memory of another, there is no greater gift. To receive a gift, takes humility because we can never repay. So on behalf of the Rutgers University Foundation, I want to thank you for your gift of love, and we receive it with the spirit and intent that you meant it to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kimberly Hopeley. Siddharth Dalla, a true devotee of Jainism, he always advocated for the exchange of ideas, creation of new knowledge paths, and training to ensure that these ancient Jain religion values are spread appropriately to view some of the world's most pressing challenges and opportunities. He believes in philanthropy, a love for mankind, and giving back, all based on Jain tenets. As a part of this, he is donating $1 million to Rutgers University for Alka Siddharth, endowed Postdoctoral Fellowship dedicated to the study of Jainism in memory of his beloved wife, Alka Dalal. Let's put our hands together to applaud for our own Sri Siddharth Dalal.
Thank you very much to Jain Center and to everyone here. And I want to tell you that this is one of the most joyous days in my life for my family and for this community. And I want to thank everyone here. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the people who have really made all this successful. Specifically, I'd like to name a few names here, although everybody has been involved across everywhere, all the way from Tao Jiang, the chair of the religious department, who actually coalesced the whole department to support this. Without his support, this would have never been feasible. I want to thank also Dean Micheli, and Gary Francione from Rutgers, and T. Williams. All three played a key role in it. Dean Micheli was a tough negotiator in everything, and he came through. Gary Francione is actually an amazing American Jain who has been vegan for 39 years, and he has been extraordinarily supportive. And T. Williams, without her, we couldn't have done any of this, to be honest. So I really want to thank everyone here on this list. And then, of course, Peter March, I just found out he was a fellow mathematician, which I come from. So I really appreciated that meeting. And Kimberly, I have to tell you a little bit about Kimberly. She just joined Rutgers last week. And the week before, she was at Arizona State. Last act of her was to sign a Jain chair at Arizona State University. And the first act of hers here would be signing in today for Jain Endowed Postdoc Fellowship at Rutgers. So I want to welcome her, and she's just setting up this trailblazer, and this is just very much appreciated. I want to express also thanks to few people who have really tremendously contributed day in, day out with me, specifically Dr. Sulek Jain and Dr. Jaswant Modi, who really played a key role day-to-day negotiations after negotiation. This whole thing took 9 months of finally getting to the point where it's like a baby being born. And I want to tell you that that was just great. I want to also thank here Ashok Shah, who is a friend of mine, who has helped me a lot. Thinking about it, Dilip Bhai, of course, 6 years back, he started and told me about this whole opportunity. So I want to thank him and Salaban very much. So thank you all for that, and deepest gratitude to all of you. Of course, and I want to thank you all here. Many of you sacrificed your cricket game between India and Pakistan, which is just amazing. We weren't sure how many people will be able to come. So I want to tell you that this is a great rivalry every 4 years, and you just have come through it. So I want to appreciate every one of you who have been able to make to this event. And of course, all of this thing goes to Alka. So let me just tell you a little bit about Alka and myself a little bit in terms of our ancestral journey to Jainism. Actually, our ancestors came from a very tiny village in Rajasthan. And around 800 years back, they were taught by a Jain monk about some of the principles, and they refused to sacrifice animals for a local goddess. As a consequence of this, they were banished from the village forever. And consequently, those people became refugees, as we would call today, and scattered over Western India and Northern India. So this is where the beginning started for our journey from my ancestral part of it. And actually, it gave us tremendous amount of enlightenment in terms of 3 really key things which are there: non-violence to all the living beings, and not just to the humans alone, animals and everything, which Gary has been preaching a great deal in that particular regard. Non-possessiveness to material things. And the third one was looking at a platitude of opinion, respecting them and examining it from multiple purposes. So this really played a key role, not only to us, but to a number of people, including Mahatma Gandhi, who Jigar talked about. Mahatma Gandhi was influenced greatly by a Jain teacher called Srimad Rajchandra. And consequently, we got Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King, who were all influenced by that. And you can imagine what it made a difference around the world. So I want to, first of all, just let you know a little bit about all this thing and what Jainism has done for the world in some fashion. Let me proceed a little bit further. Of course, this made a big difference. And then Alka's granddad was a Jain monk, and my mom was very devout Jain. So we both were thinking about all Jainism all the time, not necessarily following everything. Specifically, we really believed in Gyan, Charitra, and Darshan. Gyan meaning correct knowledge, Darshan means correct perspective, and Charitra means correct conduct. So those were the ones which really led us in our path to what we have done and what Alka did, to be honest. And Alka started actually a substantial number of charities and philanthropic causes all over, including a library here and a classroom here, and a number of other things across the many places around. So I want to tell you that she really played a key role in all of this here. Let me just talk a little bit about this, all these things which we have done today here. To be honest, this is this core team, all of us were really driven by a 3-legged stool theory. And 3 legs were going to be principally teaching about Jainism and related applications and so on. Second one was nothing but research in Jainism and related things. And third one was related to the whole community event. And actually it all started because of Alka, partly around after Alka died, I actually climbed Kilimanjaro. And on top of Kilimanjaro, I almost died there. At top at 19,000 feet, I just was dying. And then I had an out-of-body experience there with Alka being part of it. And then I was able to make to the top. And then I decided that at that time that I will quit all my regular positions, a C-level executive at a number of Fortune 500 companies, and I will devote my life to disseminating knowledge. So this is where all it really began, to be honest, from that part of it, which goes back to Alka, to Alka. Now let me go a little bit about the teaching. Of course, just amazing. Tiawa has been very amazing in terms of that particular regard, and the research, which I believe is very critical. And then of course, community involvement, which would include conferences, which would include public speaking and public lectures and so on. And today's event is a part of that. We are trying to build a bridge between Rutgers community and between our community here itself. And I hope that this will continue in that particular regard. Now, let's think a little bit about the what does it mean for all of us? So I want to tell you, obviously, the first thing is to look for excellent faculty, which I'm completely confident that Rutgers team will do a super job. There is no question in my mind. The second one is really, we as a community, what can we do in that particular regard? One of the things which we plan to do in another 6 years or 5 years, with around another $500,000, we plan to promote this postdoc fellowship to a full professorship. So that's one of the other things which I'm sure I'm counting upon everyone to help in that regard. And third thing, which I want to point out to you, that we want to make sure that we have enough number of students taking these courses, correct? So as many of you are parents and grandparents of the kids who are going to Rutgers, please encourage them to take courses in Department of Religion, as well as taking courses on Jainism in terms of understanding that. This is not meant to be only for Jains, but lots of non-Jains will also learn out of this. So this is critical. Also, if you are a senior citizen here, then state of New Jersey has been very good and Rutgers has been great, that those of you who are senior citizens, myself included, are able to take courses at Rutgers free of charge. So please make that aware to yourself in this particular regard here. Let me continue here. So Rutgers, of course, is a great university. As Peter pointed out, it is actually 255 years old, and it has really made a name for itself in many, many different areas. So, and as Dilip Bhai pointed out, that we have the largest Jain community in US in state of New Jersey. So the question is, how do we build all of this, and how do we think about it? So my hope and my dreams and my challenge to our community and other communities around is that we need to ultimately get up to around 500 students a year taking courses on Jainism related themes at Rutgers, so and religion department. So that's one of the critical thing, and I'm sure that Tao will appreciate any EFTs he can get. That would be, I think, great for Rutgers as well as for Department of Religion. So I just want to thank you, and I want to challenge all of us to contribute in terms of making sure that this happens. What is the ultimate, and Alka today, I'm sure if we ever were to read to this challenge, Alka would be beaming from wherever she is, and she would be smiling, and she would be very happy, and her soul would be very happy. So I want to let you know that. What is the ultimate goal of all of this? So, you know, Jainism, as I told you, and Gary talked about, in terms of the nonviolence and in terms of platitude of opinions and respecting each of opinion, examining each thing by multiple ways of looking at it. There are 7 ways to look around, look at any aspect, which is what Jainism always preaches. They don't make up, it's all relative, and that's called anekantvad. So I want to tell you that one of my hope and dream is that as a result of what we are starting today, this great ambitious project we are starting today is going to ultimately lead to having more less divisiveness in the world, less violence in the world, and consequently improvement in variety of way we are living, and ultimately to the animals also. So with that, I'm going to stop, but I want to thank everyone here on this table, everyone in the audience, and I'm really counting upon your support, and please, and I want to thank you again, and I just want to appreciate everything you've done, and pranam and jai jinan. Sorry, and I want to thank Jigarbai, Champaban, all kinds of people who have been so much supportive of all of this, who have worked day in, day out, making this successful. There is a lunch after this, which is I hope you will stay for the lunch.
So now I will invite Dr. Siddharth Dalal and President Kimberly to take a moment to sign this partnership in front of all of us. So let's put our hands together and welcome this new partnership.
I would like to invite JCNJ Secretary Shri Kunal Shah and Treasurer Srimati Dr. Champa Bed.
Jai Jinendra, Pranam, and good afternoon to everyone. This is definitely a very historical, special day for all of us, and a remarkable, memorable step towards Jain religion, Jain community, for Rutgers University, as well as Jain Center. So I would like to thank Executive Dean Peter Marsh, Dean, I hope I'm saying it right, Mushali, Chairman Tao Jiang, President Hopeley, and Vice President Williams, as well as distinguished invited guests for joining us today on this auspicious day.
As we all heard today, very few schools teach Jainism. To have a prestigious school such as Rutgers University not only offer a class, but have a postdoctoral fellowship in Jain studies is remarkable. This is not only a proud moment for Jain Center of New Jersey, but all Jains outside of India. I strongly feel education can be the silver bullet for all the ills of society. And this is a step in that very direction.
So to Priyal, to Nemil who is not here, and Siddharth Bhai. This must be a really proud moment carrying out Alka Ben's philanthropic vision. I knew Alka. Alka had a mission of not only be charitable, but also promote education throughout with the young generation. I want to really give you about 9 years back. I will never forget that moment. There was an opportunity for a library, to be a donor or sponsor of Jain Center's library. Alkaben and Siddharth Bhai were just coming out of temple. And I say, Alkaben, stop here. This is definitely a real nice opportunity. Without a single second, they picked up on this opportunity and say, we'll go for it. Okay. So this way, they laid the first step of Alka Ben's vision, mission for Jain Center, sponsoring a library as well as Pathshala class. This commitment to education goes forward, and it goes forward by being continued today with this precious chair. So thank you, Dalal family, and also Rutgers University. Thank you.
To all of our esteemed Sangh members, we have witnessed something very profound here today that we could all take pride in as fellow Jains. While our religion is ancient, it is not well known by many. This chair will allow both Jains and non-Jains be educated in our religion. To echo Jigar Bhai's earlier sentiment, may this chair take us to the path of ultimate truth. Thank you all for being present here today.
With vote of thanks, we'll end this ceremony here. But you heard Siddharth Dalal saying that we have the lunch arrangement. Before we go for the lunch arrangement, we are going to take a small facility tour. It will be led by one of our trustee, who is a facility, taking care of facility, Vinevi Shah. And I'm proud we have great student from Rutgers University here today, Harshita Jain, Ayush Shah, and Tej Shah, and they will be accompanying, and they learned something in our local school over here, the religion, and you will probably be proud of your student, our student together, taking this to the next generation. So with that, we'll take first to the Munisura Swami Jinali, and we'll take the tour and end up in our dining area, followed by the lunch. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, hello, everyone. I just wanted to let you know that there is a notebook out front that if you could sign your name and give us your contact information and just let us know if you're interested in learning more about the Rutgers program. Thank you so much.